Ladies and gentlemen, this is a show. It's called Cruising with the Case Handler. It's a show on personal injury and a show on immigration. Now, I've been doing this since 1996. My partner, okay, who happens to be an attorney, has been doing it for 15 years, okay? And we are here to help you in the area of personal injury and immigration. In the area of personal injury, if you get hurt in an accident, no one that's listening to this station or watching Facebook should be going to any other attorney. Why? Because I know that my attorney, who have been doing this for 15 solid years, can get you more money than any other attorney. Now, I'm saying this. So right now, Adam Handler is the man, the case handler is the man. I call him the shark because of how aggressive he can be with the insurance company in getting the most money for you, regardless of your status here in the United States. Now, there's another part of the show, which is called the Immigration Link. It's where I have the top immigration attorneys in the entire nation working at a firm that is called Pollock, Isaac, and DeSico, PPID, the same firm of which Adam Handler happens to be a partner at. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy, I'm elated that we do have a full-fledged legal show right here, law show, whatever you want to call it, Cruising with a Case Handler, right here, serving the Caribbean community and beyond. So with that said, I'm about to introduce them, but seeing that everyone is now on Facebook actually hearing me, I would like for you all to share what it is that you're watching. So right now, please do me a favor and share the link on the Facebook page. Just share that in groups, share it on timelines. As a matter of fact, do us a favor. I need for you to share to at least 10 people. Everyone that's watching us on Facebook, share to at least 10 people on your Facebook page, in groups, on pages, build up Cruising with the Case Handler as we start. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can also ask your immigration question, ask your personal injury questions by calling 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. If you're watching, if you're listening 93.5, my Facebook page is simple. It's David Squeeze Anarchy. Adam's page, the case handler. The firm's page, PPID. It's that simple. But right now, if you're out there listening on 93.5, join Facebook, David Squeeze Anarchy. Also, of course, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you share for us and subscribe to the page. With that said, let me introduce my colleague, the case handler, Adam Handler himself. Let's get into this mode, and he's cruising. Okay.
Hi.
How are you doing, Adam? Nice glasses.
I know. Listen, it's sunny up here. I'm just heading away for a couple of days and cruising with the case handler family. This is reminding me, though, of how we started this show. For those of you that are listening right now on 93.5 FM or watching on Facebook, when we started the Cruising with the Case Handler show, it was myself and David, on my way to the city every day or on my way to court, and I would mount my cell phone on my dash, and we literally would be cruising with the case handler. In fact, a little bit of trivia, Squeeze. What do you remember? What was the first name of the show before Cruising with the Case Handler?
And I've said Cruising with the Case Handler so many times I don't even remember the name.
Was it carpooling with the case handler or commuting with the case handler?
It was commuting.
And then, yeah, commuting with the case handler. And then about 3 shows in, you said, no, I'm taking control. We're cruising now. And right. It's taken off. I mean, listen, we've had tens of thousands of views on this legal show and hundreds of phone calls coming into the firm, people listening to what we have to say, people calling in for that free consultation.
Did you and Conrad get to the calls over the weekend? We had a ton load of calls on Saturday. And
I saw that. Conrad, did you see all those calls coming in, bud?
I sure did. It's encouraging. Although I'm surprised. I mean, it was such a beautiful weekend. People are inside calling their lawyers. It's nice.
We have to go extra hard, but because I don't want them to think because the weekend is beautiful, Conrad, and and the pandemic is on and all of that. I want them to understand their priorities, and obviously and evidently they do. They broke the laws.
Yep. No, absolutely. Listen, if you've got a legal problem, it doesn't matter what the weather's like outside. You're going to need a legal solution. And what better place to get that answer than with Pollock, Isaac, DeSico? Because again, the phone call is 100% free, no strings attached. A lot happened over the weekend. Personal injury. We just got a case come in through a very loyal 93.5 listener. It's his goddaughter's mother. And she was walking down the street in the Bronx in the crosswalk. got hit by a car, broken leg. This just shows you never know when, disaster is going to strike. You never know when an accident's going to happen. But as long as you're armed with that phone number, you know that you're going to have, what you believe to be and what Squeeze believes to be. I can't say it, but the best legal team backing you up, because rest assured that the insurance companies, they're going to be going with their big guns. So what weapon are you going to bring to your fight? And Squeeze, you always say, choose your weapons correctly, or choose your weapons wisely, don't you?
Choose your weapons carefully. It's a minefield out there, not just in immigration, but in any legal capacity that's out there. Now, the most important part of the show right now is for me to actually say hi to your family while you're wearing your daughter's glasses.
What is everybody making a comment? In fact, my neighbor saw these glasses yesterday. He goes, "Cute glasses." These aren't cute. These are cool, man. No?
They are cool. All right. So gotta say a pleasant good morning to you and your family, man. Conrad, how about you, man? Let's touch base with Conrad. So you just heard the voice of the shark, the case handler, the man who goes for the money. $120 million, can't be wrong. And you heard people are signing up cases with Adam Handler. If you're listening to this station, if you're on Facebook, one number, 844 ppid law. But let's go to the immigration man. Let's go to the man who can help you more than any other freaking attorney out there who claim they know immigration. I mean, other than Alan. I don't know if he's better than Alan, but Alan was with the firm, So what's up, Conrad? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm off to a slow start this morning. Mondays is always
take your money life.
Takes me time to get going. I know I haven't had my coffee yet, and it was a long weekend. I'm upstate. I had family over, and just a lot of good, wholesome family time.
What are some of the cases that you've been working on, Conrad? Anything interesting?
Well, actually, I was just talking to a client this morning. He's an Italian gentleman that immigration has just been giving him such a hard time. He's applying for his green card through employment. Guy is the CEO of his company. The company does really well. He has a six-figure salary. And immigration is just giving him the hardest time to get his green card. It's him, his wife, he's got a couple of kids here. And it's just, we've tried so many different ways to get him through the system. And immigration, for whatever reason, they just keep throwing up roadblocks. And we just had a conversation, and I'm just trying to reassure him that we're doing everything we can, and we're going to be successful in the end. And he's just got to, grit his teeth and bear it and deal with it, because this is what's going on. It's not just him. Immigration, the Trump administration is just throwing up roadblocks and obstacles to everybody trying to get their green cards. And, it's incumbent on our firm for, seasoned professionals like myself and like the rest of the immigration department to overcome those hurdles. And typically we do. Some cases are harder than others. And this gentleman's case, it shouldn't have been that difficult. In fact, when we signed them up a year or two ago, it should have been a slam dunk. I viewed it as a slam dunk, but as I said, the current administration is they're doing everything they can to discourage people from applying for the green cards, to stop people from coming here. And it doesn't matter, white, black, brown, Indian, it doesn't matter. They're just trying to stop everybody from coming here. So what we're doing is we're finding the loopholes and finding the ways through those, through their walls, and invisible or not. And generally we're successful, but why it's a lot tougher than it used to be. All the more reason that people should be hiring lawyers. Someone might have a case like this maybe 5 years ago. 5 years ago they might have done it themselves. That's just not the case anymore. You can't do this stuff yourself. It's hard enough for lawyers, let alone for individuals.
And this is an immigrant from a European community. Everybody thinks that the laws are blocking immigrants from Mexico or the islands or Asia, but this is who would ever think and the Italians would have a problem, because it's widespread. It's equally difficult for everybody, and that's what a lot of people don't understand.
He said to me, Mr. Pollack, come on, I'm not Mexican. And I said, yeah, I know you're not, but hey, welcome to the world. All right, this is not just sound bites.
The Trump administration saying this is not just keeping criminals out and Caribbeans and other.
It's affecting everybody.
It's everybody.
It's affecting everybody.
Trump
they're not just going after criminals and and keeping all the, as Trump says, the bad guys. They're trying to keep them out. They're trying to keep everybody out. And it's just it's disheartening and it's discouraging. But this is our job, and we are good at it, and we tend to be successful. In fact, I was just talking.
Hold on, Conrad. I got to interview. I need to give out the phone number. By the way, folks, if you're joining us, this is Cruising with a Case Handler. Actually, Adam Handler is in his car cruising. Conrad Pollack is cruising with the information on immigration. However, I must let you all know, this is the most powerful show on immigration and personal injury. So you need to take a powerful number. Every one of you out there, let us be proud. I know Monday morning, they say it's Monday morning blues, but let's demonstrate to the firm that you are storing the number. Can every one of you please dial the number 844-774-3529 now? Store it so when you get hurt in an accident or someone you know does, you have the number. Store it so that if you have an immigration question, Conrad can be called and you can have it answered by him. He's an attorney. The number to call, and let it ring 10 seconds, please. 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Carol Anderson, can you share for us to 10 people? You and Linda and Denisha Joseph on Facebook, David Squeezaniki's page, and the Case Handler and PPID. All right, thank you. Back to, of course, Conrad Pollack. You were saying.
Yeah, we were talking over dinner last night. My sister-in-law mentioned that she read an article that so far this year, halfway through the year, there are more people that have given up their U.S. citizenship than all of last year, to all of 2019. In fact, I think she said double. The number already halfway through the year is double the amount of people that gave up their U.S. citizenship last year.
Now, why would somebody give up their citizenship? What would be the benefit to them?
Well, look, I mean, a lot of people are benefits. No, that's not what we're talking about here. I mean, look, there are always situations over the years where you have a very wealthy person who doesn't want to be taxed, for whatever reason, and they have property overseas or businesses overseas, and they don't, the U.S. taxes everybody everywhere they can. So in the past, we've had denaturalization situations where a very rich family would want to get rid of their U.S. citizenship for that reason, to avoid taxes, for testate issues, wills and estate issues. That's not what we're talking about here. A lot of people are just so disgusted and so discouraged. I'm talking about Americans, that are just so disgusted with what's going on here. They're just getting citizenship in other countries, Germany, Ireland, Italy. I get questions about that more than ever. People are concerned about what's going on here. But yet it is still, even despite, what the Trump administration is doing, this is still the magnet. It's still drawing more people than any other country. And, again, the Trump administration is trying to end that stupidly, unfortunately, but, there's nothing that they can do to stop that magnet that draws people here, no matter how hard they make it and how bad they make it and how miserable they try to make immigrants' lives in the United States. It's going to end at some point, hopefully sooner than later, hopefully in November. But people still come. This is still the best country in the world, despite what's going on. And this guy will be gone hopefully in the next few months, and we go back to normal. And I suggest to everybody who's listening, go and take a look at Joe Biden's page on Google. Google Joe Biden immigration and just see, what he's planning. It's a return to normalcy. It's a return to an intelligent immigration policy, attracting the best and the brightest, as well as the people that we need, to supply our labor force. We have the largest segment of our population in this country is over 65 years old. And the administration doesn't recognize that we need foreign labor to come here to not only to pay taxes and take care of Social Security and all of that, but also to take care of the aging population that's here. Trump thinks about what today. He doesn't think about tomorrow. He certainly doesn't think about next month or next year, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
I was speaking to a client. Her sister or two sisters were just ordered deported. They're both home health attendants, and they take care of elderly in their home, and working hard, doing everything they need to do, and their time here in the United States is done. So that's a very good point. But ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing you can understand from this broadcast today and every show we do, is that we as a firm are here to help. There are still many, many, many things we can do to help legalize your status here in the United States and correct some of the things that have gone wrong if you made the unwise choice to follow yourself. So as long as you have that number saved on the immigration end, you'll have possible tools at your disposal to get you that outcome that you and your family for generations deserve. Likewise, same thing for personal injury. Like I said, we just signed up a case this weekend.
You're a little bit on water there.
We're losing you, Adam.
Broken leg. Never thought in a million years it would happen. She's 66 years old, never had a single accident in her entire life. Yeah, sorry. It's a number saved. I can't stress it enough, Squeeze.
All right, no problem. Let me give you out the number. The number is 844-774-3529. That's the case handler, Adam Handler, the man who recently signed up a case for someone who got hurt. Says she's 60 plus years old. That is what case handler is all about. That is what the shark is all about. That is what ppid is all about. That is what Adam Handler, the case handler, is all about, because you've got one chance, one choice, and you only need Adam Handler when you get hurt in an accident. Only Adam Handler. Everyone, dial the number 844-774-3529. He's my attorney, he's your attorney, is everyone's attorney when it comes to personal injury. 844-774-3529. Don't you all hear how cool the show is? How cruising we are? Come on. Why would you not want to hire one of these great attorneys? As a matter of fact, I tell you what, you don't have to believe me, but I'm going to test Conrad Pollock. Conrad Pollock has over 30 plus years of experience, 36 years of experience to be exact. All right. He's with a firm that's been around for 60 years. All right. His father started it. Let me just test him right now. I'm going to ask him an immigration question. If he can't answer it, I'm kicking him off. I'm even kicking Adam off. I'm even getting off the station myself. All right. And I know right now his heart is pounding. All right. So here's a question for you, man. My father left the USA 25 years ago. Can this green card still be renewed? And what are the legal terms and procedure for the expired card this old? Let's see if Conrad screws us all and we have to come off the stage.
That's a tough one. Let me think about this for a minute or two. Well, first off, I need to know if he's been to the United States at all in the last 25 years. If he has not been to the United States in 25 years, if he has not been here, unfortunately, he has lost that green card. Part of one of the obligations when you get that green card, when you're a permanent resident, one of the obligations that comes with that card is you're telling the United States that you're coming to live in the United States on a permanent basis. What that means is basically you're spending more time in the U.S. than you're not. Typically, you want to divide the year in half. You're spending at least 6 months in the U.S., every year, and you're okay. You have a residence here, you have family here, you have a job here, you pay taxes here. That's what they want to look at if you're ever in danger of losing your card. Now, for somebody who hasn't been here for 25 years, that's pretty much an open and shut situation. He's lost his green card.
But he could get a visitor's visa if he wants, right?
Say what?
He could get a visitor's visa, right?
Yeah, he could. I mean, on the contrary, that's his only option.
Right.
I would not recommend that this person try to return to the United States with his green card because he would probably be turned away. More likely, what he needs to do is hit the U.S. consulate, get a tourist visa, and the fact that he hasn't been here in such a long period of time, he should be able to get it, depending on what kind of contacts he has with his home country, because they will want to see that he has a residence wherever he is now, where he's living, that he's working there, money in the bank, family there, reasons to return to his country. That's what they want to see at the consulate.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, there's a tendency for older people, okay, in their 60s, 70s to get a visitor's visa much easier. Is that a true statement or not?
You know, I'm in my 60s. I don't appreciate that comment, right? I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not older.
Hey, listen, man. The consulate can be very biased, and they don't like young people coming to the country. Like, they're not gonna go back home. But older people, they're like, you know what? They're in their 60s, in their 70s. What are they going to go there to do?
70s.
They're going to visit. You know?
People in their 70s are older. 60s, I'm middle aged, right?
Okay, I stand corrected.
Anyway, but generally speaking, yeah, the consulates are more skeptical of young people coming here, and the reason is because if you're in your 20s, they think you're coming here to work, and that's usually a pretty good guess. People in their 20s that are looking to come here, or even in their 30s, are looking to come here to get work. And Therefore, it's a lot harder for them to get a tourist visa or a student visa for that matter, any kind of temporary visa like that. But if you're in your 60s or 70s, your 80s, yeah, you're not likely coming here to work. You're coming here to visit, to see your family, to see your grandchildren, whatever. So yeah, generally speaking, it should be easier for someone middle-aged like me or even older to get a tourist visa. Still, everybody applying for a tourist visa has to show that they have a reason to return to their country. Every person trying to come to the United States is considered by law an intending immigrant. It is up to the applicant to demonstrate that he's not an immigrant, that he's not coming or she's not coming to the United States permanently. She's coming here to visit. They're coming to see family. They're coming to Disney World because they heard it just reopened and they want to check out that new roller coaster. All right. Everybody's got to prove they're just coming here temporarily. It's easier for older people than it is for younger people because they're not likely seeking work.
Absolutely.
Sounds like we're in the bonus round, Squeeze.
Oh, yeah.
He made it.
The
show goes on.
Yeah, he made it. 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. So, Conrad, we are on at least for another day. You did well with answering that question as the top man at the firm when it comes to immigration. Okay, 844-774-3529. However, let's see if we keep Adam Handler. If he can't give me a case that he settled within the past month, we're done. We're gone. Okay, because people may be listening saying, but I don't hear this guy settling any cases. I don't hear this personal injury on 93.5 settling any cases. Is Squeeze lying? And like, Squeeze is an ass. This guy hasn't settled any cases. So let's find out if I'm an ass. Adam Handler, have you settled any cases within the past 4 weeks? Talk to me.
4 weeks. How about what we did on Friday? I mean, Friday. The Monday's always good because we get to catch up on last week's work. Yeah, Friday we settled a case for $650,000. This is a woman that with her husband was at a CubeSmart. That's like one of these storage facilities. And they're going to check on some of the things in their little locker. And as she's walking up the ramp, she trips and falls on an uneven portion of the ramp. It's like a concrete slab, almost like a sidewalk. Mm-hmm. And it was dark out, and she fell flat on her face. She bumped her jaw, twisted her neck, wound up having a surgery to the neck to correct it. $650,000. Now, why was this case? Why am I bragging about that? I mean, that's not only an incredible amount of money, of course, tax-free. This is a case, and we'll post this on Testimonial Tuesday. When we first filed the claim, we got a letter from CubeSmart saying they do not believe they are responsible for this accident and therefore will make no voluntary payments to settle the claim. So once you get that letter, you got to sue, right? I mean, they're not going to settle the case. You got to sue. We went literally from zero to $650,000 just based on the way we litigated the case. And the key element to this case was what? The deposition of one of the workers at CubeSmart who said that he knew that section of the ramp was uneven, but kept forgetting to tell his boss to fix it. And once you know about a problem and fail to correct it, you're liable as a matter of law. Sorry, did it cut out?
A little bit. So once you know about a problem,
okay, and you fail to correct it, you're negligent. I mean, that's what it is. You can't be negligent for something that you don't know about or wouldn't have reason to know about. But when you are on notice of a problem and you do nothing to correct it, that is negligence, through and through. $650,000 for her. And 2 Fridays ago, we did that case for $925,000. That construction accident. Yes. Gentleman fell off a ladder, fractured his elbow. $925,000, $650,000. So we've had a lot of luck on Fridays recently, but we are well over 14. We are well over $14 million this year. Not bad for a pandemic and a Wi-Fi connection, huh?
That's true. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's Adam Handler. Adam Handler happens to be the man who heads up the personal injury department at the firm Pollock, Isaac, and DeSico, the firm that Conrad Pollock runs. He runs the immigration department and more, of course, and managing the firm at the same time. These are all practicing attorneys. These are not some guys sitting in an office just giving out directives. No, they're actually practicing attorneys. And that's the reason why everyone that's watching, everyone that's listening to 93.5 WVIP FM, you owe it to yourself to have the best attorneys. I'm saying it, not them. And you can do that by simply dialing the number. Every one of you, let it ring 10, 15 seconds. So this way they know that you are storing their number and they'll store your number. The number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. 844 PPID law. Conrad, I got one for you before the top of the hour, man.
Sure.
Tell me about conditional, what's the difference between someone who gets a conditional residence as opposed to a permanent residence, and how to change from the conditional to the permanent? How do you do that when it comes to immigration?
All right, it's going to require some time to answer all of this. First off, difference between a conditional resident and a permanent resident. We're talking about someone who gets a green card through marriage, first off. If you are married for less than 2 years on the day that you get your green card, on the day that you're approved, you get a conditional resident card. That card is good for 2 years. If you're married for more than 2 years on that day, you will get a permanent card. So, in fact, oftentimes we have people that are just close to the deadline, and I will tell them, you might want to postpone your interview, because if you put it off a month, you'll get a permanent card as opposed to a temporary card.
Oh, really?
Why is that relevant? Why is that relevant? If you get a temporary card, a conditional card, it's only valid for 2 years. At the end of that period, the applicants have to go back to the immigration, submit a new application, an I-751 application, and they have to demonstrate that the marriage is still valid. And frequently, that could take a year or more to get approved. In the interim, they get their card extended and they get permission to work and travel.
If something happened in a marriage, it complicates it, right?
Well, that's another issue. I'm getting there. But they have to submit an application. They have to prove that they're still together in order to get that permanent card. Once they get the permanent card, it's good for 10 years, and it's renewable like a driver's license every 10 years, and you can apply for citizenship and so on. The issues that we see very commonly, very frequently, are those situations where somebody gets their conditional residence, they're married for only a year or two or whatever, they get the green card, the temporary card, and then a year later, something goes wrong, somebody gets caught cheating, they break up for whatever reason, and they start a divorce. Or worse, maybe one of the spouses is abusing the other, or as I said, there could be an adultery finding, situations like that where the marriage cannot continue for whatever reason. Those people can still apply to get the permanent card, but it's obviously more complicated. You still have to prove that it was a valid marriage while it lasted. This person is now going in alone, as opposed to in the usual situation, more common situation, they're submitting the application. There's two spouses are submitting the application together, a joint application. In a situation where they're separated or abusive or adulterous or whatever, then the spouse who's the immigrant is applying usually on their own. They will definitely be scheduled for an interview. They have to prove that the marriage was valid while it lasted. And that often is not an easy thing to do, especially if they were only married for a short period of time, or if the spouse, the husband, left the house and took everything with him. We had a situation recently where the parties separated, and the husband, just to be vindictive, took all of his wife's documentation, took her passport, took her green card, took everything, took all their pictures. So she came to us and basically said, okay, we have to get a divorce as soon as possible, and we have to prove that your marriage is valid while it lasted. She says to me, hey, he took everything. I don't have anything. So they came to us, and we had to help them to recreate things, getting affidavits from friends, trying to find negatives or maybe pictures from their phone, birthday cards, to each other, mementos from vacations they might have taken together. All kinds of things, all kinds of things you could come up with. Bills, get your old Con Ed bills, get your old telephone bills to show that you live together. There are all kinds of ways of getting through this, but it's hard.
Let me give out a number before we get to the top. Ladies and gentlemen, continue watching us on Facebook, David Squeezaniki, the case handler, or PPID. The number is 844-774-3529. Dial it now, 844-PPID-LAW. We'll continue on Facebook here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's 10 o'clock.
All right, so you may proceed, Conrad.
As I was saying, when somebody's applying for their permanent card after they had a conditional card, and the marriage breaks down, they are still eligible. They can still apply to get the green card, but it's harder. And it certainly requires the assistance of an attorney. It is not the type of thing you want to do yourself.
Right, I was about to say.
And the reason, if it goes south, which it frequently does, if the case does not get approved, pretty much automatically these days, the Immigration Service, after they deny that application, will place that person into removal proceedings. So even though that person may have had a green card now for 2 years, 3 years, whatever, while they've been applying for the permanent card, they find themselves in removal proceedings, and now they have to go before a judge, and they have to prove to the judge that that the marriage was a valid marriage. And if they can't do that, they're going to get sent home. They're either going to be ordered deported, or they're going to be given permission to leave, but they're going to have to leave.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Nelson was saying. If you do it on your own and you screw it up, you sometimes put yourself on the radar, right?
A lot of absolutely. And a lot of times, this is a particularly good example of that, because the application, when you're applying for your permanent residence from a conditional residence card, the application is not that complicated. Although they've tried to make it as much more complicated as they've done with everything else. But it seems pretty straightforward. I'm living with my husband, or I've been together forever. I've got proof of the marriage. We do the application ourselves. Half of the cases we see like this are from people that started it themselves and messed it up, or immigration just denied it for whatever reason, and they find themselves in removal proceedings. I frequently tell people in this situation, it might seem simple, but you know what? You don't always need life insurance, but you get it anyway because you never know. Look at us like an insurance policy. You might not need it, but if you do, you will be glad you paid that premium, because you're going to need it, and it's going to cost you a lot more money, and you're going to be a lot more trouble without us if you do it yourself. And that's particularly true in the waiver situation where the marriage is broken down, where they need a divorce, or where there's been abuse or adulterous behavior. It's.
Well, let me ask you
I
something.
see it happens so often.
Let me ask you something.
90% of the cases we get like that are from people that started the case themselves without a lawyer.
Right. Well, let me ask you something. You were talking about a conditional residency, right? Now, the fact that the husband took away all of her paperwork and everything in the whole 9 years, probably even her passports and everything, isn't that some kind of abuse?
Of course it is. Of course it is, and you can use that as part of your case. Look, from my perspective, when I'm doing, we call this a waiver case. All right. There are two types of 751, two types of removal of conditions. The joint application where the husband and wife are still together, that's the easier situation. And then there's the waiver situation, which could be for abuse, or, as I said, adulterous behavior, or divorce, or whatever. That's the more complicated situation, and that's the case that certainly needs a lawyer. But yeah, if the husband is stolen or taken off and taken all his wife's documents with him, yeah, absolutely, that's part of our application. But the way I approach a situation like that, number one, client comes to me, my husband left me, or I caught him cheating, whatever. Okay, first thing is you need to prove that this was a valid marriage while it lasted. So give me your telephone bills, give me your Con-Ed bills, give me all the bills showing that the two of you lived in the same place. Get me a letter from your landlord saying that he knew the two of you were living there. Get me affidavits from people who are at your wedding, all right, that took a vacation with you to Jamaica last year. Show me letters from your family. Hey, if you're friendly with even though your husband's a lowlife, are you friendly with his parents? Maybe they recognize that their son's a lowlife too, and maybe they'll give you a letter saying, my son was married to this woman and it was a legitimate marriage. So there are all kinds of ways of getting around that, and this is what we do. I've been the law that created this conditional residence situation, which took place in 1990. That law started in 1990. The reason they created this law was to avoid marriage fraud. The immigration, and it was a good idea. This law forces people to come back to immigration 2 years after they get the green card to show that the marriage is still viable, right? To avoid marriage fraud. It used to be you get your green card and then they divorce 2 weeks later, or at least that's what immigration thought, and this avoided that. So now people have to come back and prove that the marriage is still valid. But again, a lot of times, things happen. Things break down. You lose your job, person loses his mind, who knows what happens? Gets a girlfriend. Yeah, there are all kinds of things that happen, and
Conrad,
the law does provide for exceptions to the rule. Yeah.
Let me ask you this one: What if you marry somebody, and during that 2 years, that spouse gets arrested and imprisoned? and now your spouse is in prison and you're still married and you need to remove your conditions. Can that be done?
Still doable. I mean, again, it makes it more difficult, especially if the husband is in, or the wife, if the spouse, the citizen spouse, is in jail. But
Yeah.
it's still doable. Yes, it is still
Right.
doable.
Interesting.
Yeah. Again, more complicated. Logistically speaking, it makes it a little more complicated. Plus, you know, often, and we've had that situation where the husband's in jail and the wife says, you know what, I don't want to be married to this guy. You know, he's a thief and he's a whatever. I want to get a divorce. Getting a divorce from your husband who's in prison is also, it's more complicated when you want to get that divorce and if he's in prison, but it is still doable. And it is still doable.
All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's Conrad Pollock, of course, telling you more on immigration of the conditional residency versus the permanent residency and why and how, and the fact that you should not try to attempt to do this yourself. Okay. Make the call to the firm. It's 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. It's called Cruising with the Case Handler. That's the show that starts each and every weekday morning at 9:30 a.m. And we have the show on personal injury and obviously immigration. That's 844-774-3529. Everyone that's watching, I'm still asking you to share the show on your Facebook page. If you think that this show is a great show, if you think it's a phenomenal show, if you think it's a show that someone can benefit from, then please share it on their page or ask someone else to share it. It's a show, once again, on personal injury and immigration. Dial the number 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Make the link. Conrad, I got one more immigration question, then I'm going to ask Adam to top it off for me on the personal injury side, but on the immigration side,
Sure.
My husband was initially on the F2B. Then we got married. My mother-in-law became citizen and category changed to F3. F2B priority date is 15th of July, 2011. And the I-130 was filed in 2017. How many years do we have to wait? Should we consider?
Hold on a second. F2B is for, the classification F2B means that a permanent resident has applied for his unmarried son or daughter who's over 21 years old, right, 21 years of age. Now, if that person gets married, that case is over. Unless the petitioner, the parent, who's a resident when they filed that case, if the parent became a citizen before the son or daughter got married, then the case can continue, but it now becomes a third preference case as opposed to F2B, and it changes the priority dates as to how long it's going to take. It'll take longer. But again, that F2B means that that person is single, unmarried, son or daughter over 21 years of age. If that person gets married before the parent became a citizen, that case is over, and they need to file an entirely new application.
Gotcha.
Serious business there. Yeah, they could have lost by doing that. They could have lost years.
I would suggest that they call you now. The number, once again, is 844-774-3529. Do not wait a second. Call the firm, Pollock, Isaac, and DeSico, ppid, 844-774-3529. Ask for him by name, Conrad, or ask for the Maverick, Nelson. All right? So make sure you reach out to the firm, 844-774-3529. Adam, can you take us out on this wonderful show, Cruising with a Case Handler on personal injury and immigration?
Absolutely, my friend. Listen, the message is very clear. We can't stress it enough. You know, we are a firm that does things very, very differently. Not only do we try our best to obtain the most successful result possible, you know, we do it in a way to make you feel comfortable with the process and make you feel like family. In fact, if you log on, you know, to my website, The Case Handler, the first thing you're going to see is not about the millions and millions and millions of dollars we've obtained for our clients. It's a very simple phrase. You know, we treat our clients like family, and that's how, you know, we do it every time. We treat everybody's case like it's our most important case. And if that's something that's important to you, and that's something that appeals to you, and you believe in me, and you believe in Conrad and Nelson and Squeeze, you're going to keep that number and you're going to save it, because we understand that in many of these instances, whether it's an accident case or whether it's an immigration case, you got one chance to get it right. There are no redos. And if you screw it up the first time, you got big problems. So if you want it right the first time around, I highly suggest you go with who you
There goes Adam going.
possible attorney.
There we go.
Sorry. Best
Sorry.
possible attorney fighting for you and your family.
Absolutely. Adam Handler, folks, he heads up the personal injury department. Conrad Pollock heads up the firm and also the immigration department. Quick one here from one of our avid Facebook followers. Linda Shaw says, will my son be aged out? He's 24 now. December the 25th will make him 25 years old. My mom petitioned for myself and he was added on my paper when he was 50. Conrad?
It depends on when they filed the case and when it was approved. All right. What she's talking about when she refers to aging out, she's talking about the Child Status Protection Act. That's the CSPA. The CSPA is a way to allow children in this situation that might age out, meaning they might not be included in their mother's case, to still be included. But you have to look at the date that the petition was filed. You have to look at the date that the petition was approved. The time between that date of filing and the date of approval, that amount of time, whatever it took, whether it was a year, 2 years, 3 years, can be deducted from the child's current age and make them younger. So in other words, that person is 25. He has to be under 21 to be included in his parents' case. So we're talking roughly 4 years. If it took 5 years for that petition to get approved, you can deduct that 5-year period from his age of 25, which makes him 20, which means he can accompany. He can be included in his parents' case. If the case only took a year to get approved, he's out.
Okay, wow. All right, that concludes the show right here. Cruising with a Case Handler, of course, immigration, personal injury. Adam Handler, a personal injury attorney who heads up the personal injury department and is a partner at the firm. Thank you so much for being on. I can see how committed you are that you're actually doing the show in the car with your family. Okay, and say a pleasant good morning to the captain of the of that family right there. Yep. Okay. All right. Pleasant good morning to her, and also, of course, to your passengers. All right. Okay. Pleasant good morning to them all. Okay. There we go. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Handler, cruising with the family and doing the show. Remember to reach out to him. God forbid you get hurt in an accident, you will need him. And that number happens to be 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPID-LAW. Want to say thanks to the captain of the ship, PPID, Conrad Pollock, for doing such a wonderful job in building such a phenomenal and great firm that's been helping out multiple ethnic communities and beyond. So I want to thank him for actually allowing the show to be on 93.5 FM with Adam Handler. Conrad, thank you for being the captain. Thank you for doing what it is that you do for many people out there. The number?
My pleasure.
Okay, 844-774-3529. I'll let him take us out. A few seconds on the piano, the keyboard. He's an avid pianist. So I'll have him take us out right here as prior results for a guaranteed similar outcome, but go with PPID. Thank you so much for tuning in. Conrad?
All right.
There you go. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, for Cruising with a Case Handler today on 93.5 WVIP FM and also, of course, on Facebook, multiple pages. This show will be rebroadcasted, so make sure you tune in and share the page with others. Thank you and have yourself an amazing Monday. Peace.